The Monk and the Executive, a story about the essence of leadership by James C. Hunter, is a self-help and personal development book that addresses the topic of leadership. The story is narrated by Leonard Hoffman, a successful executive who, after a nervous breakdown, decides to step away from the corporate world to find a new meaning in his life. On his journey, he meets a Benedictine monk who teaches him about the principles of servant leadership. Why is it important to read The Monk and the Executive? The book is important for several reasons. Firstly, it provides a comprehensive insight into the principles of servant leadership. Hunter defines servant leadership as the ability to influence people to work enthusiastically toward identified objectives for the common good. This concept differs from traditional leadership, which focuses on power and control. Servant leadership, on the other hand, is based on trust, respect, and collaboration. Secondly, the book is an engaging story that is easy to read and understand. Leonard Hoffman's story is inspiring and provides practical examples of how the principles of servant leadership can be applied in real life. What is learned from The Monk and the Executive? The book imparts several valuable lessons about leadership, including the importance of serving others. Servant leaders put the needs of others ahead of their own. The importance of humility. Servant leaders are humble and acknowledge their limitations. The importance of vision. Servant leaders have a clear vision for the future and work to achieve it. The importance of communication. Servant leaders are effective communicators and know how to motivate and inspire others. The importance of trust. Servant leaders are trustworthy and inspire trust in others. Complete summary. The book The Monk and the Executive is divided into 7 parts. The first part, The Collapse, tells the story of Leonard Hoffman, a successful executive who, after a nervous breakdown, decides to step away from the corporate world to find a new meaning in his life. Part 1, The Collapse. Leonard Hoffman is a successful executive who works for a large company. He is an ambitious and competitive man, always focused on achieving his goals. However, his personal life is in shambles. He is divorced and has a strained relationship with his children. One day, Leonard suffers a nervous breakdown. He is diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and is forced to take a break from work. Part 2, The Encounter. Leonard decides to step away from the corporate world and travel the world. On his journey, he meets a Benedictine monk named Don Quixote. Don Quixote teaches Leonard about the principles of servant leadership. Leonard is impressed by Don Quixote's teachings and begins to question his own view of leadership. Part 3, The Journey. Leonard continues his journey of learning about servant leadership. He travels the world and meets people from different cultures and backgrounds. In his travels, Leonard learns that servant leadership is not just about principles but also about attitudes and behaviors. Part 4, The Discovery. Leonard starts applying the principles of servant leadership to his own life. He returns to the corporate world and begins to lead his team in a more servant-like manner. Leonard realizes that servant leadership is more effective than traditional leadership. Part 5, The Transformation. Leonard completes his journey of learning about servant leadership. He becomes a more effective servant leader and inspires others to follow in his footsteps. Leonard writes a book about servant leadership and establishes an organization to promote these principles. Part 6, The Legacy. Leonard shares his lessons with the world. He believes that servant leadership is the key to a fairer and more peaceful world. Part 7, the Epilogue. Leonard reflects on his journey and shares his vision of a better future. He believes that servant leadership is the key to a fairer and more peaceful world. Development of topics. Here is a more in-depth development of the topics covered in the book. The importance of serving others. Servant leaders prioritize the needs of others ahead of their own. They believe that the best way to lead is by serving others. Servant leadership is based on the idea that everyone has something to contribute. Servant leaders actively listen to their followers and consider their ideas and suggestions. They are also willing to share power and responsibility with their followers. Servant leadership is a more humane and compassionate way of leading. Servant leaders create a positive and collaborative work environment where people feel respected and valued. The importance of humility. Servant leaders are humble and recognize their limitations. They understand that they don't have all the answers and are always willing to learn from others. Humility is an essential quality for servant leaders. It allows them to trust others and delegate tasks. It also enables them to admit their mistakes and learn from them. Servant leaders are not arrogant or presumptuous. They know that their success depends on the people they lead. The importance of vision. Servant leaders have a clear vision for the future and work to achieve it. They share their vision with their followers and inspire them to work together to achieve it. Vision is crucial for servant leadership. It gives followers a sense of direction and purpose. It also motivates them to work hard and overcome challenges. Servant leaders not only have a vision but are also capable of effectively communicating it to their followers. They can create a clear picture of the future and inspire people to work together to achieve it. The importance of communication. Servant leaders are effective communicators and know how to motivate and inspire others. They communicate their vision clearly and concisely, and they are always open to receiving feedback. Servant leaders are also good listeners. They actively listen to their followers and consider their ideas and suggestions. Servant leaders understand that communication is essential for the success of any organization. They regularly communicate with their followers and keep them informed about the organization's progress. The importance of trust. Servant leaders are trustworthy and inspire trust in others. They are honest and transparent, and they keep their promises. Trust is crucial for servant leadership. Followers need to trust their leaders in order to work effectively together. Servant leaders earn the trust of their followers by being honest and transparent. They also keep their promises and remain loyal to their followers. Benefits of servant leadership. Servant leadership offers several benefits, including increased productivity and employee engagement. Employees who feel respected and valued are more productive and engaged. Improved organizational climate. Servant leadership creates a positive and collaborative work environment where people feel respected and valued. Higher customer satisfaction. Employees who are led by servant leaders are more likely to provide excellent customer service. Reduced employee turnover. Employees who are led by servant leaders are more likely to be satisfied with their jobs and stay with the company longer. Conclusion. Servant leadership is a more humane and compassionate way of leading. Servant leaders prioritize the needs of others and believe that the best way to lead is by serving others. Servant leadership offers several benefits, including increased productivity and employee engagement, improved organizational climate, higher customer satisfaction, and reduced employee turnover. If you want to be a more effective leader, consider adopting the principles of servant leadership. My review, The Monk and the Executive, is an inspiring and instructive book that delves into the topic of leadership. Leonard Hoffman's journey is one of self-discovery and transformation that is easy to relate to. The principles of servant leadership presented in the book are relevant in any context, whether in the corporate world, academia, or personal life. The book is divided into 7 parts, aiding Leonard Hoffman's journey from a successful executive to a servant leader. His story is a powerful example of how embracing servant leadership principles can lead to personal and professional growth. The book imparts valuable lessons on leadership, emphasizing the importance of serving others, humility, having a clear vision, effective communication, and building trust. These principles are not only insightful but also actionable, making them applicable to various leadership scenarios. The Monk and the Executive also highlights the benefits of servant leadership, such as increased productivity, improved organizational climate, higher customer satisfaction, and reduced employee turnover. These advantages underscore the significance of adopting a servant leadership approach in leadership roles. In conclusion, The Monk and the Executive is a compelling read for anyone seeking to become a more effective and compassionate leader. The principles of servant leadership, as exemplified by Leonard Hoffman's journey, offer a roadmap for achieving personal and organizational success while prioritizing the well-being of others.